Welcome. I am Foretrosake here. Today, we are going to venture into Excitebike. I'm quite sure that if you've played any games out there, you're aware of Excitebike. I'm probably not going to teach you anything that you don't already know about Excitebike. But we're not always here to learn, are we? Sometimes we're just here to jump on the bike and ride. Have a good time. So why don't we just jump on into the game here, shall we? One of the coolest parts about Excitebike is that you have the option to just race solo or to race against computer opponents. A would be that option. A for gas. B for turbo. You go turbo too long and you're going to overheat. But if you go down here to those little arrows, you can get your turbo back under control. Excitebike was one of the launch titles for the NES. Came out on October 18th, 1985. And I can tell you right now, this is one of the very first games that we had for our NES. And we spent a lot of time overheating, getting upset, trying to get past levels, and of course fighting over that remote. I missed that one. Hit those arrows and your temperature is dropped back down so you don't overheat. That is probably one of the loudest sounds that I've ever heard on an NES game, and it still sounds great. Like, you gotta love the sound of that. If you didn't catch my intro, don't be shy. Go back to the intro and check out that intro. Huge shout out to Captain Lego Man for helping me make some intro screens. He's an amazing, awesome individual. If you ever have the pleasure to know or even meet Captain Lego Man, well, you are in the high society right there, aren't you? Because that is a very, very cool, awesome man. Always willing to help out a pal. Anyone that knows him will say that. So thank you again. Big ups to Captain Lego Man. What an awesome individual. I think one of the coolest things about Excitebike is that you're on a motorbike. I mean, I get it, yeah. Like, they would expect you to be on a motorcycle of some sort whenever the game is called Excitebike. But I never knew a game like this at all as a kid playing Atari to ever see such a cool game. I mean, and if you know of another game prior to the NES Excitebike that was so awesome on a dirt bike, please comment down below. Let me know. If you're here live in the chat like Captain Lego Man is right now. Holy goodness gracious. Captain Lego Man live with us right now. I'm telling you what, I love you, buddy. Really appreciate all that you've done for me. You've been a great friend and such a huge help. I love my intros, and after I got my outro, I couldn't help but throw this one in. I mean, and I missed the jump. But I remember whenever we got Excitebike, I don't believe that we technically got it the day that it came out or something whenever I was a kid, but I know for a fact that my grandma and grandpa had this at their house, and we played it there a lot. And I'm telling you what, like, the little mini war competitions that went on with trying to be the fastest in the level and get the best score, or best time, I'm definitely not doing that right now. At some point here, I am going to overheat. Either that will be on purpose or accident. I'm going to guess on accident. But just so anyone out there that hasn't seen this gameplay before will get a short idea of what it looks like when you overheat. Because as a child, when we're impatient for something, when we're really wanting something to happen right now, we have this moment where we feel, you know, like, say your computer just isn't loading. One of your natural reactions, whether it works or not, is to start clicking the mouse again, right? Like, say you're in an elevator and the elevator is just seemingly not closing fast enough for you. One of the very first things that you try to do is hit that elevator close door button, and you think that if you push it 5 times, it'll get you there faster. There, now I'm wrecking. To my point, when you wreck or overheat, I shouldn't say overheat, because actually I don't think overheat has anything to do with it, but whenever you wreck, for a fact, if you push the buttons, A, B, push them as fast as you can, your little biker dude will run back to the bike a lot faster, and hence your time will be better if you get back to your bike a little faster from overheating. But this is one of the only times, as a child or as an adult, that I can ever tell you that pushing the button faster and faster actually works the way that you want it to. It gets you to that bike a little bit faster. I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like I remember my dad being like, hey, stop. Y'all need to do that. And I was like, no, you really do. Like, you push as hard as you can, as fast as you can. You'll get right back on that bike. So that's a nice appeal to the game, is that the more you slam on that button, the more of a chance of you getting that better time. So let's go ahead and take the B selection and go take a couple of tracks around and see if we can do anything with the competition. If you've played Excitebike before, let me know what your experience is with Excitebike. Have you played the versions on the Wii? Have you played the versions that I haven't played? Because I didn't ever know this, but there was an Excite Truck. I'd never played Excite Truck. I'm doing terrible right now with the competition. These guys won't leave me alone. I wasn't aware of Excite Truck, and it sounds awesome, and I kind of want to get that game. Because if it's anything like Excitebike, which I'm guessing it is, it's got to be great. I mean, now I never did play the Excitebike version for the Wii, so I don't have any experience there with that game either. Not to say that I wouldn't, though. Like, I would definitely get it and try it. But my problem was, I bought Punch-Out for the Wii, and I just wasn't all that impressed, but maybe it was just because I never really played it on the SNES. And it was a lot like the SNES version whenever I got that game. Like, that particular version was more like the Super Nintendo. And I just never really got into that particular one. Now, Captain Lego Man says that he only played Excitebike and Excitebike 64. I did play Excitebike 64, but my little brother was the one that had the Nintendo 64, so I played it on his system, and I'm just a doofus running in the back of the guys here. I did get to play that one. I have a Nintendo 64 here. I have Excitebike 64, so maybe we'll throw that in here within the week and see what the major differences are between the two, because if we're just going off of my gameplay right now, you'd probably be wondering why I would ever play it on any other system, because I'm not doing so hot right now. They said on Wikipedia, I saw it said that Excitebike was made on WiiWare, and that's one of those things where I don't remember anything about the WiiWare. I'm more of a physical game person all around. So if that was like their online service and everything at that time, that would explain why I don't really know of that too well. But it sounds awesome. I mean, I would have been all down for it if it would have been something that, say, around that time frame, I was actually on the internet more or something, but I wasn't. So I'm gonna guess that it was more like a online version, but someone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I don't know what WiiWare is. I never had WiiWare. But as far as Excitebike goes, I don't know too many people that didn't have Excitebike as a kid. Like, I remember almost every single kid that ever played Nintendo having an Excitebike in their house. Now, if you were to look this game up on Price Chart, which I almost always check all the games before I start playing, I didn't check this one. I'm gonna guess that this game probably sells for somewhere in like $15 to $20 range, just because with it being a launch title, I mean, there had to have been so many of these made. Welcome to the chat and to the Gameplay Forgotten locale. Thank you. I decided to change to this avatar today, just playing around. I sent Captain Lego Man something kind of funny with being Darth Vader, and I didn't really know that Darth Vader really applied too much to this game. I assumed that if the Excitebike guy was to take off his helmet, maybe this is what he would look like. I mean, just guessing. There we go, we finally hit it. Yeah, get out of my way. I'm pretty sure this was the last level that I played. Oh no, I did get one more level solo. Didn't do so hot. Well, being on my own, but hopefully we'll get past that on this one. What's up, Knock? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the gameplay. Yeah, but Excitebike to me was like, I was trying to cut him off. I knew better than that. Can't get around these guys. Excitebike was just one of those games to me that it seemed like everybody had it. And I could be wrong in that. Maybe it was just the people that I knew just so happened to have it. But it was funny because if like you had friends over, I felt like Excitebike Beyond Mario was the game that always ended up in the NES. Like, we were always trying to be the best time, see how far you could get in the game. And I don't really know what to compare that to today. Like, if you were to have some buddies over, what the game would be that you just have to put in the system to see if you can beat everybody else. I mean, hey Jerry, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got all wigged out or something. Must be that wild mode. So I must not have... I missed the screen. I pushed the button too fast. I didn't see what... I must not have got a good enough place. So we're going to go ahead and go to... I think race 5 is the only thing that I haven't shown everybody. And this was one of my favorite ones. Does not mean that I was any good at it. It was just one of my favorite ones. Like, I never can say anything bad about a gray screen. And this was a gray screen, whether it is or isn't. It's still a gray looking screen to me. And I love that they had put such a dark color with the gray, because for the first time, I mean, in all the gaming that I remember, I could see the background color really clear, and everything stood out. So a lot of NES games, they throw a lot of colors in there, man. Like, there's just so much going on that I would have a hard time differentiating what was on the screen or not. Not overheated. But this particular level, I think, is one of the coolest looking levels. I thought it overheated again there. I was like, what did I do? So if I'm understanding this correctly still, the way that Excitebike works is it doesn't really matter how many people on the screen that you pass. There's a time that you have to beat, and that's what position you get. So it really kind of screws with you whenever you're like, nah, I've passed like 5 guys. I had to have got better than 5th place. Like, come on now. 8th place, looking ugly. So one of the other games that implemented the Excitebike was the Mario Kart 8. Information online states that it was part of the DLC, which I think is interesting because on the Nintendo Switch, it's not DLC, it's already in there. So all of you that have played the Excitebike level, it was all solely based on what this was. And this was one of the few games, I'm going to try 5 again. This is one of the few games that Nintendo likes to state that this was like the game. This was a game that they used to implement onto a lot of other games. So even Super Mario Brothers, they give Excitebike some credit towards in the development process and everything. So for a racing game like this to get so much accolade from a company is kind of surprising to me. I mean, because nowadays, like, I'll play some ATV games here and there, but most of them, I don't know, they're just not as fun. They try to put too many graphics into it, and it just makes it choppy, and it just doesn't look as good. But one of the last ATV games that I played was on the PlayStation 4, so I could just be outdated and not have tried something worthwhile enough here lately. And I'm really not going to get a good position if I don't start hitting those arrows more often. Because if I keep missing those arrows, that's what lowers my temperature on my bike. So I can keep going the... My goodness. I got to stay keeping the wheels on the ground. I probably should have practiced this a little bit more, right? Captain Lego Man says the Excitebike guy was also meant to be a playable character in Super Smash Bros. Melee, but he got replaced by the Ice Climbers. I did not know that. That's actually really interesting. I really suck at Super Smash Bros. I got 6th place. That's better than 8th. I suck at that game. Like, I've tried to play it and get better at it, and just to be honest, I didn't put enough time into it. I didn't try hard enough. Now, I did try that Nickelodeon version that they did, and like, that's fun, and my kids love to play it, so that's probably why I have a little bit more time in that. But it definitely seems like Smash Brothers is meant more for I don't know, a real gamer, I'll say, like someone that really likes their fighting games, and I'm just not that good when it comes to fighting style games. I'm going to run through this one more time, another lap through this, and then I wanted to show the design side of it, because the last game that I played, which was Trolls, I mentioned while playing that game terribly also that it had a design side to it, and that it had kind of copied that mindset off of Excitebike. And I also promised that at the end of the stream that I was going to show what that black cart looked like in case no one's ever seen one of them, and then I didn't. So I made sure that I put it off to the side here so everybody could see that black cart. Now that it's out of the system, it's a lot easier to show you. But I remember as a kid designing the levels, and it's just kind of interesting to me because that's where like Game Builder Garage gets its idea too. Like, I mean, a lot of this game has been implemented throughout Nintendo's ways in so many different variations. Nox says, I like the new multi-versus game. It's more like a party game though. I'll play it with a few friends and have a good time. But with Smash Bros, I prefer 1v1. And that's probably what I just need to do is just play it more. Like, I need to play it more. I've never had a group of friends to sit down and just play the game with. And I think that would be more interesting as well because, I mean, as most of us do, I come from a background of having a group of friends there to play the games with. And it just, I don't know. It just seems to be different to me. It seems to be a little bit more exciting whenever you have a group of friends there with you to play the game and to share the experience. And I think that's why I also enjoy streaming. It doesn't mean I'm any good at it, but I definitely like knowing that other people are watching and giving comments back and critique and things like that to what I'm doing because, I mean, that's the same thing I would have done back in the trailer with all my buddies after school. And in some cases, I had one friend, Mark, that came over to our house before school. And if Mark got there before 6:45, we were turning on the Nintendo. Now, that usually started some kind of ruckus in the house because I had 3 younger brothers. Only 2 at that particular time in the trailer. But you try to have 3 kids fighting in the morning over a Nintendo game, your mom's going to get into it with you, like, pretty fast. And I can only imagine being a mom or dad of 4 boys in the house. I have daughters, but I mean, boys can be ruthless and at the throat, it seems, a lot. So I can only imagine having one system in the house and that's all everybody could play with. It just sounds like a nightmare to me. So I love my mom, and I'm sorry, Mom, for how terrible I've always been. Thank you for putting up with me. But my buddy Mark, he really got into Castlevania, and he was one of the sole reasons that I ever even played the game, because we didn't own the game in my house, but he had it. So if he brought it over to my house, I would sit there and watch him play, because, I mean, I wasn't going to waste his time. Like, if he was going to watch me play something, it would be Super Mario Brothers. Like, that was something I was really good at, and he didn't play a lot of it. But, man, he could play some Castlevania, and I really loved watching him play that. Like, I've always kind of enjoyed watching my buddies play some games when the opportunity arises, but that's not always been the case for me. Like, I'm usually playing the game or trying to fight my brothers to play the game myself. So after we get done losing here in track 4, because I've yet to get 3rd place or better on this track yet, then we'll go to the design side and just do a little short look and see, so everybody has a good idea of what Nintendo... Oh, I thought I hit that. What Nintendo implemented. I don't know why I went to the top of the track whenever I very well could have stayed down. There was arrows down there. The game is a lot more fun whenever there's competition on the course, but I don't know how I would have ever got a pole position because this gameplay right now is not so hot. Like, seriously, 8-year-old me is laughing at me right now. Like, come on, dude. What's wrong with you? Overheating, falling off the bike, hitting the tops of the hills. Oh! I thought for sure I made it there. Come on, man. What's a game that you guys played as a kid that... Oh! I finally got 3rd! Nice! What's a game that you guys played as a kid that you would get people together with and play a lot of? Is there a particular game out there that you guys did that also with? Because, I mean, I can't be the only person that would get together with some friends and play Excitebike or something like that. Because, I mean, there's got to be loads of other games that kids played when they got together. Because I think of that, but then I also think of Mega Man. Like, okay, GoldenEye. Yeah, okay, I didn't own GoldenEye. A friend of mine had GoldenEye. And I'm telling you right now, that was so much fun. Like, I always wanted GoldenEye. Like, it's like, please. Now I got it. I played it some. Not nearly as much as I wanted to when I was a kid, but I've definitely played it some. That is a fun game. And Smash. Okay, so my little brother owns Smash. And if we're just being clear, he whooped on me playing that. And as older brother, when your younger brother is beating you in a game left and right, you do one of two things. You either just don't play that game no more, or you get better at it so you can beat him. And I just stopped playing the game. Like, he had me beat. He had time in it that I did not have. And I just was like, nah, it ain't gonna happen. Mario Party 2. I don't think that I actually ever played Mario Party 2 as a kid, but I definitely remember playing Mario Party 2 when I was trying to get my collection together and stuff. So I did get to play that. Jerry says Jet Force Gemini. Is that on the Super Nintendo, Jerry? Because if so, I believe I played that. I at least think I own it right now, but that game right off the top of my head, I'm not remembering that one. Okay, so I said that I would show the design side of it. N64, okay, that makes better sense. I might have that now that you say that, because I'm trying to think of a Gemini game that, and maybe it's just because I own Gemini on the NES, and maybe that's why it was making me. Said it's a weird third-person shooter by Rare, had multiplayer deathmatch. So the other day, whenever I was talking about my family and I having games that seem to be more rare, I didn't explain myself correctly. That's what I meant, was we seem to have owned more games that were made by the company Rare, not we owned more rare games. Like, I said it how I meant it, I just said it a little convoluted. It didn't make completely all that much sense. So, like, we own Snake, Rattle, and Roll, and not everybody owns Snake, Rattle, and Roll. I played a lot of that game, and I did a short little snippet one night of showing the secret to get to the last level. I bet you I played that game for about 10 minutes before we figured that out. It didn't happen right away, like jumping into that ship, but we definitely played it for about 10 minutes and realized, oh, there's a ship at the end, because we were just trying to blast through the level as fast as we could, like just get all the way to the end. Jerry also says, I also played a lot of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 with a friend, but that's on PC. My buddy, when I got older, had a computer. That's the one thing about our household growing up. We never had a PC in the house. I was 18. I want to say 18 or 19. I know I had moved out, but my parents had got a computer shortly after I think I moved out. And, I mean, no particular reason for me moving out did they get a computer, but it was just something that we didn't own in our house. We just didn't have a computer, but my buddy up the road did, and I would ride my bike up to his house often. I mean, that's where I got on AOL Messenger and things like that I would have never been on ever at any given time unless going up to his house. So back to the Excitebike. One of the options in this game, like I said before, is the design. So if you were to go down to design and push A, this would be the screen that you would first see. And it's interesting because all of the letters coincide with something that would go onto the screen. So to go a little bit further, you push what is your gas, A, and then to pick one of the letters, you push B. So that's A again, sorry. That's what B would be. C. I'm just going to run through them so you can see all the options that they gave you to be able to put on the screen to make your own course. This is going to look terrible whenever it comes to me trying to race on it. So they had little speed bumps, and I'm guessing those are like little mud pits. And then that would be your temperature reset. So we'll put that back, go forward a little bit, and then put down the speed strip. And then one for lower. Obviously just a section of grass that slows you down in the game, so it's just one of those obstacles. And then a top one. A section missing. Those hill climbs, those, I thought, maybe it was just because once you got further in the level, it just seemed so cool that those hill climbs were there. But I thought that was so awesome whenever you got to like level 5 and all those hill climbs. And then obviously you have the 2-track hill climb. If I'm remembering correctly, this particular hill climb is in the Mario Kart 8 version. I think the other side of the track has this particular one on there. I don't know if the mud pits are on the game or not. And then you could... sorry, I don't think I can go back now. That is the one thing. Once I'm so far, there is no going back to it. But you could clear out, I guess, the bushes. Like, I don't know why you'd want to clear those out. And then you could put on there that you want it to go for 9 laps, 8 laps. So we'll put 2 laps on here. And then... oh my goodness, that went backwards. Super genius there. So end. I don't know why I put it there. That's kind of weird. Now the save spot. I could be wrong about this, but I don't believe that it actually saves on this cart. It was something that they had planned on doing and then didn't implement into the game. Maybe it was the earlier ones didn't have it, but it'll be saved on the game as long as you don't turn it off. As soon as you turn it off, it's gone. Like, it won't be there for you to come back to later on. It's gone. So, given that I accidentally put an end in the middle there, I'm wondering what it's going to say for me there. It's taking its good old time for saving, though, I'll tell you that. Because I don't remember any one of these ever saving and then going back to it and being able to load it and then it be actually there. Like, I don't remember that ever. But it's definitely an awesome idea that they had to put the option for you to be able to make the tracks, load the tracks, and then be able to play them with your friends. The only problem, though, is I don't think that it was something that you could actually do on this cart. Captain Lego Man says, no, it was meant for the Famicom Disk System version, and they never took it out of the NES version. So I was partially correct there. It's there. It just doesn't actually work, and it was there for a good reason. It was there for the Famicom Disk, like Captain Lego Man says. And that same thing goes for Wrecking Crew. They have a load screen, save screen on there, but it's something that's not actually available. So it makes me wonder if my NES is just going to sit here like this, because I've been waiting for it to load now for quite a while. And I'm going to give it about another 5 seconds. And if it doesn't load, well, then we'll end it here. I want to make sure that I say again, thank you so much, Captain Lego Man, for your awesome intro. I'm going to add the outro here in a little bit to it, but I definitely appreciate everyone stopping by, seeing some old Excitebike from launch day, October 18th, 1985. I mean, what an amazing game for it to be a launch game alone. Captain Lego Man says the NES version of Wrecking Crew would just crash if you saved. So that's what I believe just happened right here. Because, I mean, I've been waiting now for every bit of a full minute, if not more. And my only thing is I was thinking, well, I did put a lot of things on that course, but at the same time, I really didn't. Like, I just put one of each. That's all I did. But yeah, I'm not seeing it come back up. So, for Foretrosake here, thank you for stopping by and seeing Excitebike on the NES. I'm going to try to put on my other camera here real quick and show you real quick, since I said I would do it before. I want to show you. This is what the Trolls Black Nintendo cart looked like. And I know that's a real small picture of it. Next time, I'll put it up on a bigger screen so you can actually see what the game looks like and everything. But these are unlicensed Nintendo games that somehow made it through the system and work on your NES. They found a way around all those codes and everything to get them to work. So it's really awesome to see. Thank you all for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you next time.